Hey everybody, welcome to the Struggling Hunters. This is episode number 17 coming at you not live. I am Eric and
I am Joe.
we are ready to come at you with another episode tonight. We're going to try to make this a quick one. We have some things going on the other end that we're pretty excited about, so we're going to kind of make this a quick one, get to those pretty quick. With that said, Joe, you want to get right into it and start talking about some of your scouting epidemic times
Sure.
in the woods?
Yeah, so my great plans aren't turning out to be so great as I thought they once, much as I thought they were. I thought, I thought that, not that I thought I had this hunting season in the bag, but as I've been going down, scouting the private property that I've gained permission to hunt on, and public property too. But the private property, I was able to locate, a small herd of bucks. But the last two times I've been going down, I have not seen them. So I don't know. So I think there's a couple. So I've been scouting that area in the mornings, and then moving up on the public property, public land in the evenings, and glassing those and trying to see if I can come up with something. Up there, I have been seeing does, but no bucks. But I don't know. I've been trying to decide if the heat has anything to do with it, or if the moon, or if or what exactly could be affecting it. Like as far as the private property, I feel like is a couple things going on. They get the people, the property that I got permission to, they have alfalfa fields, and so they got to move water lines, and so people, are down in there messing with water, which is, I'm not saying that I'm mad about that. I can't be there. I've been given permission to hunt on there, so the farmer's got to do what he's got to do. And like I said, the heat, the moon, I'm uncertain, or if it's just the time of year that the deer have a cycle to where they start moving someplace else. I've only been watching them the last couple of weeks, but yeah. So, and I don't know if like I said, as far as the hunting the public property up on the mountain, I was up at like 10,000 feet, 11,000 feet. I had a pretty good area this last weekend that I could glass a couple different hillsides. One was probably too far to really even to glass effectively on, but what was in front of me was close enough. But I thought for sure. But I will say, so we had that episode a couple weeks back that we talked about, like, what type of food or foliage that deer and elk are going to eat. And I hate to admit it, that I've slipped into the mindset of just get up high and find a glassing point and just glass. So I threw everything else that we talked about out the window, as far as, trying to find those places with good food in it. There was water. I know there was water in there. As I was hiking in, there was, little seeps, little springs that were shooting out on the trail that I was going up on here and there sporadically. So I figured, the side I was looking on, figuring it would be roughly the same. But I didn't see any antlers. I saw one doe this last weekend. But then again, like I said, I looking down, I could see a ton of green grass and whatnot, but I don't, I'm sure they could eat it, but I don't know if there's a couple things with that train of thought is, I don't know if there's a better spot that the deer have found that they like to hang out in. You know, I'm sure there's better spots. I just haven't found it yet. Or if it was just hot enough that they know of a shady spot and they're just sitting in that shady spot all day till it cools out. And I stayed up there till pretty much dusk, and I was getting hard to glass. I couldn't see anything. So I don't know if, you know, if my inability to see at night is limiting me because of the heat, or if I just wasn't in a good enough area for the deer to be in. And
what was it kind of thick in there or no?
it was moderate. You know, it wasn't extremely thick. You know, it wasn't, but it was thick enough that it cast enough shade if there was something in there.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing is the doe that I saw was on like an open hillside, but she fed into like a little stand of trees. What I should have done is watched where but I don't know that the bucks. I think the bucks right now are in the bachelor groups, and they're not really, too concerned about the doe.
Right.
So it's not really effective to really concentrate on where the does are at.
Yeah. Well, kind of like you said though, especially those bigger bucks. I mean, from what I understand, is they'll set in their bedding areas a long time. If they ain't getting disturbed in their bedding areas, they're not gonna move, and they might be more nocturnal. What was the moon this weekend? I didn't really pay attention.
I don't know that it was a full moon, but it was bright out. It was still bright enough that they could be moving around. And I'm sure that had something to do with it and being hot. Here in Utah, we had I was not record-breaking temperatures, but it was a hot week. Like every day was over 100. So I'm sure that had something to do with it, because I don't want to be out hiking when it's hot. So
yeah, we've been kind of going through the same thing over here too. So I'm almost betting that they were probably staying bedded down that much longer just because the moon was out and they could just eat all night,
Right.
I mean, I guess you never really know, or maybe we just don't know because we're the struggling hunters, not the professional hunters. But
right.
I mean, 2 weeks from now, man, it could change all over again.
No, that's what it can. And I've been trying to like mow over in my head what kind of strategies I want to I want to do. And one of the things that kind of popped to my mind is where, we're kind of limited on time, is kind of find a good glassing point in the morning. And then, I mean, it might be too aggressive. I'm not sure, but it's something I kind of want to try. And then, so I want to come up with the plan of having 2 glassing points, one for the morning, one for the evening. And then try to have a good stand of timber in between the two. So that way I can still hunt my way through the stand of timber and take my time, go slow. And then by the time I want to be glassing for the evening, a couple hours before the sun sets, get up to my glassing point and then be able to glass someplace new. And then maybe start there the next day from that glassing point and then still hunt through some timber to another point.
Yeah. Might not be a bad idea.
Right. I feel like it's a little aggressive because, that's a lot of movement going on in an area. But, this area that I'm hunting, it's, I don't know when the next time I'll have a tag for it. So it's not like I'm wanting to be too careful. You know what I mean? Like my presence after this weekend, I don't really care because I probably won't be up there again because I'm gonna switch to the elk hunting after the opening weekend. I think that could change too, but where I'm not really planning on going back, I really don't care how much of a presence I make in the woods, like.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we gotta keep our spirits up. Be optimistic.
No, that's for sure. Like that's one of the things is, you know, talking this over and talking to other people, and I was like, well, what's my best bet? And the conclusion is well, like do I still hunt, or go through the timber, or, and no matter what, I want to do like what we said before is I want to spend all day out hunting.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go back to the truck unless there's something needed. But once we leave the truck in the morning, I don't want to go back till sundown. But if with that being said, you're going to have a better opportunity no matter what you're doing, if it's right or wrong, of getting an animal if you're out in the woods.
Yeah.
So.
Well, is it bad to say that I'm so optimistic that I was planning on just taking the truck out where we're gonna hunt, open the tailgate, wait for it to jump in the back,
and then head home,
slit its throat, head home, and call it a day? Is that a little too? Do you think that's a little too optimistic, or?
No, I think it's a good way to start.
Excuse me. I think we'll be all right, though. I don't know. I mean, you've scouted it. I haven't even been out there. I'm gonna go out there looking like a deer in the headlights, no pun intended. But so I don't know what anything looks like. I'm just gonna be following you, but I don't know. I feel you put a lot of time out there, and I think that's kind of giving me more confidence that you're gonna get something, because the time that you've been putting out there so far.
Yeah, and that's like the one thing. So like, that's a little frustrating though, like spending all this time and not seeing what I want to see.
Yeah.
No. But so but yeah, I've been looking at Onyx, and I might probably change locations where I have been. I found some other bulls that I want to hunt, like we want to look at. I think might be a little bit better. So if we end up hunting the public property, it might be totally different than where I've been scouting. But with that is being said, I should say I did find someone's sleeping pad.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, it's hidden up under a tree. I left it there, but it's hidden up under a tree. So someone was backpacked in there. I probably should have. I saw it through my spotting scope, but or my binoculars. I should have went down and looked at it, but
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder if they actually left it. I mean, it could have been one of those blow up ones that might not be. Or could you tell what
I think it was a styrofoam because it had like the waffle shape to it.
Oh, okay. Huh? Maybe they just left it out there, or maybe they're coming back to get it.
Right, or they're leaving it for the hunt. I don't know.
Just seems like a weird thing to leave for the hunt, though.
True.
I don't know, but that's exciting, though, man. That's exciting to know. Well, we're coming up close. By the time this thing drops, the weekend that this thing drops, we'll have it all set up to drop. We'll be out hunting, and hopefully we'll be running into some animals.
I think,
and I'll be getting some sick shots with the camera, watching the arrow go through.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I'm getting excited. I got the time off for work, and
oh, good.
I'm all ready to go.
Good. Yeah, I've been doing like meal prep. Meal prep. I shouldn't say meal prepping yet, but I've been purchasing items to be turned into meals and whatnot. So that way next week I can start getting all my menus put together.
You're a little further than me. I was trying to think what I wanted to do exactly. Well, because I don't know. Well, I guess that's something that we got to figure out is how much we're going to camp and how much we're going to have your dad chef it up. Do you think he would? Is he much of a chef? Much of a barbecuer?
No.
He doesn't turn on. He doesn't strike up the old grill and get the
No.
get the ribs going.
No, you'd be good. You'd be lucky to get a can of soup.
Oh man, maybe I'll have to take my new Blackstone griddle. We'll cook some food on that.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things is, we're talking about this is been trying to decide how much of it I split between, because it's not, I don't have a lot of private property to hunt on, so it's not like we can just like take off hiking all day on private property. And with not seeing anything, I'm like, do we just take Saturday day and just hunt the morning where I've been seeing them? And then there's plenty of public property around the private that we can kind of spend time in the area and then come back and hunt the evening to see if something comes out. But like, then if nothing comes out Saturday, I kind of thinking if that's what it is, I'm kind of thinking of spending Sunday and Monday camping out up on the mountain.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can pull out my Kodiak tent. I'm bringing it just in case. I don't know if we'll actually use it.
I'd say bring it, just so that way it's there. Because like I said, I'm not ruling it out. If we're not seeing anything down on the private property, we're going up on the mountain. We're going camping. Because it's a good hour drive up and down. So I don't want to spend that much time driving,
How do I think I have a feeling, and I don't want to, I'm following you, whatever you want to do, it's your hunt, whatever, but I do have a feeling that we're probably going to run into some stuff Saturday evening. I think Saturday morning, it could be Saturday. I can't sit here and be like, well, it's going to be exactly at 6:00 in the evening. But I just have a feeling that the way that I picture it in my head, where we're going to be setting, those deer are going to come down to us in the evening, and that's when we're going to get our shot. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope that happens because of this reason too, because you're crazy enough that we'll go hunt all day Saturday, and then you'll make me go up in the mountain, set up camp Saturday night, and then get up bright and early on Sunday and make me go walking around. So what I'm hoping is we get lucky on Saturday, get some sleep, get up in the morning, go up hunt, and then midday set up camp. I don't want to set up camp midnight up in the mountains. So
if it didn't work out that way, we were going to go up the mountains. It'd either be Saturday afternoon, or we'll get up early Sunday morning, and then go hunting up on the mountain Sunday morning, and then set up camp, come back and set up camp, and then go back out or something.
Perfect. Well, I like that idea. I just know that you can get in the zone and.
It has crossed my mind to just maybe take off and be like, we're sleeping in the back of the trucks.
Well, speaking of that, I was just kind of having that thought of maybe where like hike up on one of those glass mountains and then just I'm sure it'll be warm enough, have a sleeping bag and maybe set up some kind of tarp system or something. And
well, that has crossed my mind too, being like, all right, bring a sleeping bag if you don't mind packing, and then we're hiking out to a spot and
yeah,
camping out there.
Yeah, that'll
bring your bear spray and pistol.
Yeah, definitely. That'll probably work. If you want to. I don't know if that's part of.
That might be just one of those like plans. That has crossed my mind, that is something I would like to maybe do, but that might be one of those things that we get up there and both of us looking over the topo maps or Onyx and being like, this area looks good here. And I'd really like to see into this area, but in order to see that area, it's going to be too long of a hike out or too long of a hike in just to do it on an evening or a morning.
Right. Well, either way, it'll be exciting. It'll be fun. And I'm just hoping, as far as my job running the camera, I would like to just get the 6 shots.
Make me look good.
Make you look good. Exactly.
But yeah. Have you thought about anything sorry, not to, just since it's on my mind, meal prepping for like what you going to carry in your bag for snacks or lunch?
I feel like this time, because
so I guess the reason I ask, so what I've been doing is, as far as I haven't been putting a lot of boot on the ground hiking, like I've probably hiked in about 2 miles last weekend. So it wasn't that hard of a hike. It was uphill, but it wasn't, downhill was nice. But like what I've been kind of doing for a meal was just grabbing like those 2-for-1 peanut, like bags.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I mean,
and where I haven't been working so hard, that's been enough,
yeah.
like, but that's not a meal, but that's at least for hiking and doing what I have been doing. That's been plenty for me.
Yeah. So because I haven't, this is just a 3-day hunt for myself.
Right.
As far as food prep and stuff, I really haven't taken it that serious as far as like what I was going to do to prep. So I might actually mimic that and maybe do that and some Cliff Bars.
That's some Cliff Bars, and I'm going to probably throw in some type of a jerky, like a small, like a packaged jerky for, not like a big bag, but some smaller package or teriyaki sticks or something.
Yeah. I might do something similar to that. I mean, like I said, meal prep just hasn't really crossed my mind. I guess one thing I'll probably do is make those beans so we can have those one night.
Yeah, that's a must. Almost gonna be a tradition.
I think it's turning into one of those deals, huh? Where I have to do it every no matter where we go. I gotta bring some.
Yeah, no matter how many hunts we do a year, we got to at least have one night of
beans.
Of beans.
Sounds good to me, man. That's awesome. Hey, actually, it is kind of awesome. I'm glad you like them so much. But I might go down with this podcast being known for my beans. Everybody's gonna just want to try my beans.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Can't hunt for crap, but man, he makes a good set of beans.
Right. We're gonna invite Eric along because we know we're gonna get some good food.
Yeah. The guy's cursed. He can't kill anything, but he does make good beans.
Right.
Son of a gun. Oh man. Well, yeah, man. Nah, that's good though. Let's see, what did I do this weekend? I didn't have to work, so I've been having to. I don't know if I've said it, but I've been having to work the weekends just for a few hours. But I've been having to work the weekends, and this last weekend I didn't have to work. This coming weekend I will, and then I got the 3 days off for going down there to hunt with you. But yeah, I've been having to work weekends, so I didn't even know it. I'm kind of all over the place, but what I'm trying to say is I didn't know that I wasn't going to hunt this weekend. So work this weekend. Hunting's on the mind. I didn't know I wasn't going to work this weekend, so I didn't really have anything planned. And then I kind of found out last minute that I didn't have to work. So I didn't really get much done as far as, I would have liked to go up to the mountains, but I was figuring the whole time that I had to work. So I didn't really get up to the mountains, but but I'm not too mad about it. I mean, I got some time. I think my son's going to do flag football this year, so that's going to be kind of tricky doing some scouting, but I'm going to do whatever I can, get up there. And he has games every Saturday, so I'll just probably do some day trips or something and get up there Saturday evening or something and try to find some elk, bugle a little bit.
Do a little bit of e-scouting.
Do a little bit of that.
It would be fun once September hits, like throwing out some bugles, seeing if you get anything to bugle back.
Yeah, that's definitely my plan. I mean, the hardest thing about that, and I mean, I'll make my decision whenever I get up there, is I don't know what the archery is going to look like. So I don't want to mess up somebody else's hunt by me being greedy and just trying to lay out bugles. So I don't know if I find myself in an area, I mean, somebody could be, especially all in camo. I mean, somebody could be right there and I wouldn't know they were there, but I'll depending on like how many campers are in their camp spots and stuff, I might try to lay out bugles or I might just refrain and not do it. I don't want to mess up somebody else's hunt just because I want to be selfish and lay out bugles. But I don't know. I might have to at least do a couple because I know my son, he's never heard any bugles before. So I think if I did that, he'd be so jacked. And yeah. So
how old were you when you first heard your first bugle?
Jeez, man, I don't know. I honestly can't remember. I feel like I was fairly young, but I can't remember.
I was trying to think back, like, trying to be the almighty hunter. I want to say, like, oh, I was 6 years old.
I was out of my mama's womb.
Right. But I I grew up in Vegas. We deer hunted, never elk hunted. So I didn't hear any elk there. We moved to Idaho. And I never really hunted elk until our senior year in high school. But we had elk running past our house. But it was never during the rut, and so I don't think I really heard my first bugle till I was like 24.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about it, I want to say my first one was whenever I was a teenager with my older brother. We were up in the Selway area in Idaho, and we were back in the mountains there, and I think he had it. I think he had a tag for that area. I can't remember what the situation was, but it was obviously September, at some point in September, and later in the evening, I remember that, and he was laying out some bugles, and we never did see the elk, but I mean, he was behind some thick trees, and we couldn't see him, but he was right there, and that's what I remember the first one being. But to my memory of that, though, I feel like I might have done it before that. The only reason I say that is because it was cool and everything, but I wasn't surprised by the sound, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I feel like I heard him before that, but I just don't remember it. But yeah, I do remember that time with my older brother, and he was laying out the bugles, and they were bugling back to him. So I was probably 14 or 15 maybe at the time.
Cool.
So
that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've seen them, like when I got older and we moved to Idaho, but I don't think I heard a bugle until I was in my 20s, 24-ish, maybe 23. But because I tried thinking back, and there's a couple of them that were bugling. I think we were out here down by Payson, and we were kind of scouting for deer, and I was with this one buddy of mine, and we with Robert, and we hear bugles going off, and there was one going off over here, one going off over here, and it felt like there was like three of them, one going off behind us or something, and all of a sudden, like, I guess it was during a youth hunt. The youth get to hunt like earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This like kid, and so it was like an older brother and his girlfriend and his little brother like come out of nowhere, and they're running to get to this other ridge trying to chase down one of the bulls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I just remember, I was like, man, where'd they come from? And they're gone.
Nowadays with social media and everything, I feel like the kids are getting younger and younger going after these bulls. Uh, because when we were younger, I felt like it was mostly like my dad and some of my mentors that I had growing up. They're just trying to get me on deer. Focus on deer, get used to hunting, and now these young guys are going straight after bulls. But it's kind of a different atmosphere too, because out here in Colorado, it's just different. I don't know if there's more elk out here than deer, but there's a lot of them. And in Idaho, it was a little different, where there was good populations of elk, but I don't think it was quite as prominent up there.
Right. Well, and I've always, for some reason, I've been kind of like, before I started hunting elk, been kind of scared of hunting elk. Like, everyone's always talking about, oh, you got to have like the biggest, your powerful gun. You got to have a good gun. You got to know where they're at, and like, you got to hike these hills. You got to be in shape, and so I was like, I'll start hunting elk, I guess, when I'm ready. And I got into hunting elk through a guy at work, and not that I've been successful yet, but I've been trying. And but for some reason I was just scared of it. Like I don't like. I felt like I had to almost like be ready to go hunting elk, not like have everything ready, not just, all right, let's go give this a shot and see what we find. It was like I got to be ready.
Yeah, I hear you. That makes sense. Well, and my first rifle was a 30-30, and I know there'll be some Rambo out there that says, "Oh, I killed many of elk with 30-30," but it's a 30-30, like pretty much a deer gun, your first gun for deer. Yeah,
Right.
I'm kind of like you. My mindset was always just on deer for forever. Whenever I got a little bit older, later teens, I would, I've said it before, but I would get my elk tag, but I'd mostly hunt for deer. And my thinking was, well, I'm out there hunting for deer, but if I come across the elk, um, I'll, I'll shoot it. I'll have the tag for it. So I did that. I didn't do that every year. Like one year I would, and one year I wouldn't, kind of thing, for a long time. And, but now I think that's part of it too, is we're older. The challenge of the elk is just what kind of drives us a little bit.
Yeah.
Makes us want to go for it, is the elk. So, I think it's just a time thing, but, I guess that's one of my great regrets though, is not going after elk as a younger guy, not learning them earlier in life.
Right.
And
True. Yeah. Me too. Not that I've really learned a lot since I've been hunting them, but I've picked up on some things, and waiting for when I can connect and hopefully be able to pick up on some more.
yeah, I think, I mean, I just think it's all about confidence. I think once we get our first bull elk, we'll kind of have a different perspective, and kind of the following year, it'll be like, okay, we've been there before. We know what to do. Try to repeat our steps to a sense.
I'm like kind of excited for the day that, yeah, like you just said, repeat everything. And then like, I'm excited for when it's like year after year or tag after tag that I'm successful with an elk hunt,
Yeah.
like I'm looking forward to that.
I think it can happen. Speaking of all this, there is one thing that I'm a little nervous of. I've kind of heard rumblings of it, and I don't know if it's 100% true, but ever since this coronavirus, has kicked off, I've said it, but I've overheard other people say it about people just being out in the woods in general.
Oh,
And I'm kind of a little worried this coming season we might get a lot of hunters up there. And I think part of it is like through this COVID stuff and the shortage of protein and toilet paper, it just kind of put people at a different mindset. You know, a lot of people kind of was like, oh, it's so much easier to go grab your side of beef or your package of beef at the grocery store, no big deal kind of stuff. And I think this coronavirus, since it kicked off, it's kind of put people in another mindset of like, well, maybe I should get a little better at, you know, self-sustaining, taking care of me and my family. And so I don't know. I mean, we might see it during your hunt, even maybe, or maybe not. I mean, I don't know if that'll be a good gauge or not, but
well, it might be kind of hard because the tags all went on sale before Corona hit. So I take it back. The archery side of it, there's unlimited tags. So for the elk, so it is an elk area. So yeah, I guess that could be. Very
yeah.
much so.
I mean, I think if that's the case, then you know, we might see it play out in a couple weekends or when this drops this weekend. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm kind of curious if there's going to be more hunters out there than ever. Or,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe things will normalize and everybody will kind of relax. But I've just been hearing rumblings here and there, and it's kind of been making me think about it a little bit. And like I said, almost every time that I went up there to go scouting this year, or whenever I was turkey hunting, I mean, just the amount of people that were out in the woods was quite surprising, being so early in the year. But I think this Corona stuff just got people kind of wanting to kind of get outside more, get out in the woods more, and get away more. So we'll see what, and through some of the podcasts the hunting podcasts that I've listened to, they've talked about some of the tags disappearing in 8 minutes or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
So.
it killed the Utahs when they opened up all their leftover tags. It was all gone like within a half hour, if that, of whatever's left over.
Yeah, it might have been it was either that or Montana or what, I can't remember even which podcast I was listening to, but I remember that, but I heard him saying that all, so it's so hearing that kind of stuff, just kind of like a little indicator, like, oh, we might get a lot of activity out there in the woods this year. So
True.
So we might have to combat with that a little bit. Like I said, we'll see what happens this week, or yeah, well, I guess I could say this weekend because that's whenever this is going to drop. We'll see what happens and go from there, but might just have to be another adjustment.
True.
Or, well, it might work in our favor too. You never know, because if we do get a lot of people out there, and with you being a little bit more, I mean, you haven't really came across other scouters, have you?
I can't. No, not really. I've seen a bunch of 4-wheeler activity, but a lot of it was just leisurely riders. I've maybe seen 1 or 2 4-wheelers that seem like they could possibly be out scouting, but I haven't ran into anybody scouting for anything, so we might be okay during my hunt.
Yeah, well, that's what it might work out to an advantage toward us too, because if there is a lot of hunters, you kind of know the area maybe better than they do, so you could I mean, this is just me being optimistic, but we could kind of maybe set in a place where we think they could possibly push stuff to us. And I mean, that might be an on the fly adjustment, and who knows, maybe I'm over exaggerating all this and it's not going to be much different than any other year, but definitely kind of a conspiracy that I've been wondering about.
True.
If that's what's going to happen during both of our hunting seasons, basically.
Right.
So, with that though, I think we could probably cut this off and
Yeah, sounds good to me. I think I kind of went over what I wanted to get done over tonight, threw some stuff out there, and discussed some of the topics that I was wanting feedback on. So I'm good.
Okay. I have this one thing that I was wanting to talk about. It has nothing to do with hunting, but it was just kind of a topic. I'll just go ahead and spill it real quick before we get off. So I've been watching this Lunkers TV is what it's called, and it's this dude. He's pretty popular. I mean, he has 1.7 million followers, but he has this. He has some videos of him buying storage sheds, and I've been watching him. I started watching him do reviews over some battles. Military battles in Afghanistan and Iraq. He was doing like review videos of it. Anyway, I started watching his content, and he was doing this portion of buying some storage units, and I didn't know this was possible. But for people out there that are interested in buying storage units, you got to be careful, even from the storage unit owners. He had a video on there that these they did business with this particular storage unit business before, and they would open the storage unit, and there was like a few nice things or somewhat nice things in the very front, and then in the back there were like Home Depot boxes and like freshly taped up and stuff, and they're like, man, this looks weird, and they started going through the boxes, and there was nothing but junk in the boxes, just like literally like just like some of it was literal trash, and they're like, man, it feels like we're getting ripped off. Well, they went back and bought another storage unit to kind of investigate it, and it was the same setup, and the storage unit that they bought was 2 weeks before that, his buddy bought that same exact storage unit. So then he came back, and they're like, yeah, storage unit 231. And he's like, oh, great. He's like, how long has that storage unit been there? And they're like, oh, 6 months, and he's like, oh, okay. And he kind of knew they were lying right then and there. And he went in there and opened up the storage unit, and same thing. Like, there was a couple bigger things right up front, kind of things of no value. And I guess to tie this in a little bit with hunting is there would be like a gun case, but the gun case would be completely empty, right? So it'd have like a Smith and Wesson box or something like that, but the box was it was just a box sitting there, like didn't even have like an item in it to at least make it look like they were trying to stuff an item in the box. It was just an empty box. And anyway, so they would do that with the storage units, and this was like the business, or anyway, the people that were working there, whoever was scamming them. So long story short, I just wanted to say, like, if anybody listening is worried about or wanting to get into buying storage units, like, beware of that stuff, because I mean, I've wanted to do that, watching those TV shows. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to go through other people's stuff and find stuff of value and sell it and all that, and
Yeah.
After seeing that though, I was like, ooh, man, even these guys that own the storage units can be scammers. So,
Right.
but this Lunkers TV, to give him credit, he did a whole video about it and kind of, exposed it or whatever. But I just thought it was interesting. And so last night, whenever I was thinking about doing the podcast tonight, I was like, oh, I should bring that up. So that's pretty much that. So, but with that said, guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Struggling Hunters. We appreciate everybody that's been subscribing, liking, following on the actual podcast platforms. And we got some more content coming your way, trying to really make a good go at this. So we really appreciate you guys' time and appreciate all you guys' support. With that, I am Eric, and
I'm Joe.
we are out.
Peace.
Laters.